You too. It's Tone back with another one for you. And this one is a continuation. This is the second book. The second video on this book, Banking Temples. Right? So earlier we talked about how the courts are basically securitizing the commercial cases behind the scenes. They're marketing them on the stock markets. If you know a good broker, he could probably even look up your case number and find the QSIP for you and things like that. Like, it's really that fucking official. That's really what they're doing. So this book shows you some of the forms to fill out in order to get back your interest on, whatever profits were made from this whole fucking scam that they pulled off that they call the justice system, right? So I think it's pretty ridiculous, but they're doing it because they're making amazing money doing it, and not that many people know about it, right? So let's get into it. So we were talking about right here. It says I have found it helpful to handwrite the language below in order to elicit a response or to invoke an audit of the two sets of accounting books and records the corporate or the state courts are all running. So there's two sets of books that they have there, obviously, because on one of them it looks like a criminal charge, but on the other one it's an actual dollar value amount associated with each supposed criminal charge. So since the bankers and bar attorneys in the non-judicial private administrative tribunals are not planning to pay the tax on the commercial value of the case or any of the municipal bonds and securities which are created, written, and floated out into the open market into investment pooling funds, the IRS will generally act on a 3949A when properly filled out, supporting exhibits, right? Meaning that you show them all of the administrative process that you performed on these people, how they failed to respond with an affidavit, and things of that nature, right? You're going to show them your summary judgment, and depending on how far you got, you might even show them the UCC1 lien that you put on the judge, prosecutor, state trooper, or whoever else didn't respond to any of your queries, right? So you send that all in with your documentation. So IRS agents will not act until someone actually reports it. It might be of interest to include the Form 8300 and Form 13909. I, John Henry, for the family of Smith, am reporting suspicious activity for purposes of misappropriation of public funds and embezzlement, noncompliance, and obstruction of Title 26/26 CFR tax filings regarding a corporate transaction within the Hartford Superior Court, commercial court case number, right, XYZ. The clerk at the window is an obstruction of my tax filing with IRS by refusing to provide their EIN on the Form W-9, request for taxpayer identification and certification. The clerk of the Superior Court is impeding my tax filing with IRS for purposes of correcting the administrative process with the corrected Form 1099-A and OID filings with the Internal Revenue Service. I am the sponsor for the credits to finance this case, and the interest must be returned to principal. Form 211, application for outward for original information. The IRS Form 211, which I did a video on about a year ago, right? You can go check that out. So these are some of the forms that would go with that particular document. That application for award for original information. Basically, you want money for ratting is what it comes down to. Which it is what it is. Like, it's their job to fucking rat on you and throw you in the goddamn cell and shit, right? So they can do that, but nobody calls them a rat. But if you're gonna fucking send out some paperwork on them not filling out their taxes, then all of a sudden you're a rat. Okay, bro. So is the form that whistleblowers must complete and submit to the IRS in order to perfect a claim for an award under Internal Revenue Code 7623A or Section 7623B. The Form 211 must be filled out with the U.S. Whistleblower Office in Ogden, Utah, with the whistleblower's original signature. So that's the Criminal Investigations Division over there, too. That's my favorite place to actually send you to. These people really fucking do their job over there. I'll tell you that. So, and they really do their job. So with the whistleblower's original signature signed under penalty of perjury and the Form 211 is not signed, the IRS will not accept the claim and will give you a limited amount of time to sign a return. Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigation Division, Box 192. All right. All right, hang on a second. Let me write this down. All right, so Covington, Kentucky, zip code 41012. So report these corporate courts for securities fraud. So supporting exhibits would be anything that you have filed into the case and have drawn out time date stamp copies, i.e. the W-9, IRS proposed copies of tax forms, etc. You have to know what to say when the clerk fails to act as a public servant. I even have some affidavits for the clerk demand too, stating the codes and statutes that obligate them to file whatever it is that you give them, and not to voice their opinion about what should or shouldn't be filed unless they have a fucking code or statute to back it up. You know, their personal opinion and giving out fucking legal advice when you didn't ask for it, that's not part of the job at all. You know what I mean? So as a public servant, blocks your administrative remedies, obstructs Title 26, impedes your compliance with Title 26, and denies you the ability to correct the tax records regarding the case. Also, when he or she is denying you due process of law, which they often will because you are not in de jure court of law, it is a de facto administrative tribunal. Pretty much means that you're dealing with the clerk behind the counter at Walmart, and they act just like those cunts too. So these foreign bar agent attorneys appear to be stealing our private exemptions in order to avoid their tax liability under Title 26 CFR. I believe that the IRS would interpret this as an avoidance of tax liability, misappropriation of public funds, piracy, extortion, and embezzlement if reported using a Form 3949A and FinCEN 101/104, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, to the Department of Treasury. The IRS cannot act unless you report it. Remember, all of these private administrative tribunals referred to as courts are accountable. They are not courts of law while operating as private banking centers. The foreign bar agent attorney will run their piracy, extortion, racket, RICO violations until they break the backs of the American nationals within the 50 state republics. And this is what they're doing. So C-28, United States Code, Clause 2041, deposits of money in pending or adjudicated cases. I would suggest bringing IRS Forms W-9 with you at the start of your banking business if you plan on making a special appearance by special visitation in one of these private administrative tribunals referred to as courts. A simpler way of putting these corporate gangsters' feet to the fire in the corrupt corporate court systems of admiralty and statutory equity might be to just fill out and send IRS Forms 211 and the 3949A Suspicious Activity Report with your case information created against your ends legis trust entity decedent estate. And so basically what he's saying here is that, you know, if you plan on going and making a special appearance, it's better to just bring your W-9 with you so you can hand it to him as soon as you get in there for any charges that were brought against your decedent estate. So attach IRS Forms 3949A to their 211 forms and mail both forms to both addresses. It might be worthwhile to wait till the last minute. This ensures that the IRS does not receive them or open their investigation before the tax filing deadline, which will also prevent the so-called judges who ruled on any cases in 2020 from claiming their bonus commission taken from our or your trust and being reported as income before the cutoff date to file. If it were me, I would ask the IRS determination letter in response to the W-9 filing. This letter says the IRS agrees that they are tax exempt. This letter should show that they are a charitable organization and that they do not have to pay taxes on any monies tendered. Absent this letter, they are not a tax exempt organization. They must have a W-9 and IRS determination letter to be deemed tax exempt. Don't just get the commercial administrators, get the corporate courts, the court clerks, and the city or the county to obtain a determination letter applying to a specific set of facts, or to send copies of amended documents, write or fax to Internal Revenue Service, Exempt Organizations Determinations Room, 4024, Box 2508, Cincinnati, Ohio, zip code 45201. The fax number is 855-204-6184. If this ever happens again, let me know. The commercial courts do not have proper venue or jurisdiction, and the corporate gangsters who run control and own these privately held privately owned foreign corporations do not have proper standing to sue. There was not any claim stated upon which relief can be granted against Neal, which is Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 12b-6. So, and this is the thing too, these people are bringing you up on charges that they claim there's only one way to fucking fix the goddamn issue, which that's just bullshit in general. Because this fucking their way or no way is pretty much what they're saying. That's not law, all right? So it should be entirely possible to claim the income, profits, and proceeds from that surety bond and foreign agents run through the court for every commercial case. It's in your name, your decedent estate. If you, the living man, woman, and I mean, look, so this is one of like the main reason why everybody needs to get their UCC 1 and 3 done, to secure yourself commercially, because you're dealing with fucking corporations. All right, and all the charges against your decedent estate. So they're trying to jack your decedent estate for all the money in there. When you do your UCC 1 and 3, that puts you in a position to make special drawing rights and things like that against your decedent estate. So then you can get the fucking money out of there and not them. So if you, the living man or woman, are being bound and held as surety, trustee, and defendant, Title 28 Code, Clause 2041, deposits of money in pending or adjudicated cases. All money paid into the court of the United States or received by the officers thereof, in any case pending or adjudicated in such court, shall be forthwith deposited to the Treasurer of the United States or a designated depository in the name and to the credit of such court. The section shall not prevent the delivery of any such money to the rightful owners upon security, according to agreement of parties under the direction of the court. And so here it's got the date and cases to back all this shit up. So, I mean, this was an awesome ass book. All the paperwork that you need to get all of this shit done is in this book. If you need it for free, send me an email. You know what it is, sovereignproductions369@gmail.com. It is the game of chess. Stop playing checkers with these clowns. And that's what I got for you for now. Until we meet again.